Hi guys! Um, I wasn't gonna make a video about this. In fact, I wasn't gonna make a video at this hour because I was getting ready to go to bed. And I had seen this pop up and it was no more than just ignorant statements that have now just become kind of big as of very recently, so I figured I might as well comment on it. Quick disclaimer before I go on with the video. I've never had to say the name of this group out loud, like probably ever, so I have no idea how to say their name anymore. I tried looking it up, but people kept saying it was either EXID or XID. I don't have a clue, so I'm just gonna say XID because it's shorter, but if it's wrong, please let me know. I'm sorry in advance. Super, truthful, factual, integrity-filled, and not at all ignorant media news site, TMZ, media, who is also a media news channel on television, covered EXID being in America. Didn't say why, didn't say who the members were, or even how many there were, just said that they were in America for some unknown reason. Why would they bother to mention this? Apparently it was because there was a huge gathering of people at LAX when EXID landed, but I honestly believe it was just so they could squeeze in a little bit of tasteful racism by making fun of the way that they pronounced words, mainly Junghwa, who was saying how happy she was that everybody was around, being in America, and then a white staffer on TMZ mocked her accent and her English. So, the whole newsroom was like laughing, but also like, ooh, that's so bad, but they just took it to a level it didn't need to be. There was no reason for them, like, great for EXID to get the exposure, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. Like, people were saying, EXID get that recognition, but like, they're getting recognition for that by those people, so not quite sure how this is a victory for K-pop or EXID, but whatever, take it as what you will. From last I checked, it's gotten over 100,000 views on YouTube, that one clip. It was like less than a minute even. And TMZ likes to do this thing where they start talking about like the person they're talking about, and then they'll go off on tangents about the staffers' personal lives, at least on the television show. And then they'll like end it with like a little clip of the person they were originally talking about. In other words, they don't really report anything so much as they just like to spew jokes that would put a comedy club to sleep. So that was something that kind of irritated myself and also irritated a bunch of other people. It's just straight up racist. I'm going to call it what it is. You can't expect a person who's not from America to know perfect English when they're visiting. I don't even think they're going to be there for more than like 3 days. They're in the middle of promotions for their new song right now. I'm pretty sure they're not there to build roots and buy a house or whatever in America. So I would expect Americans, especially ones with the platform of having a television show and a website people frequent, to have that same mindset, but apparently not. What I thought would eventually, this 1 minute clip would eventually just be kind of swept under the rug. Like, I talked about it a little bit on my Facebook page, like, it's annoying, but it's escalated to a point where Amber from FX and EXID's company have both commented on it. So, Amber had this to say. On Twitter, she said, "I was gonna stay quiet, but I can't. Seriously, TMZ, not cool, man. All Americans facepalm at your rude and childish actions." So, basically that. It was rude, it was childish. The only thing she didn't call it was racist, which is also true. And good on her. Like, I've always loved Amber, and this is just another reason for me to love her. She's standing up for not only EXID, but also for foreigners, who she herself is an American, or Asian American, in Korea, and had to learn that whole new language, and had to kind of hope that people were patient enough to be patient enough with her while she was learning. So good on her for speaking out on that. But now, Yedang Entertainment has also commented on this, saying, I came across the content in question. This was during an interview with Star News. They called Yedang Entertainment, and the representative continued by saying, "It's very upsetting that they would ridicule a Korean person with their tone and accent. It isn't something we can laugh off. This is clearly an act of racism. We will be contacting TMZ through Korean media on site and will be demanding countermeasures. So that sounds good in theory, but let me tell you what's actually most likely going to happen. TMZ does not give a damn about you dang entertainment. TMZ's a trashy website that posts really, really asinine things about celebrities all the time and borderline stalks them. Hey, like the rest of, American media folks do, but TMZ has a TV show, and so I guess that makes them a little different from all those other trash sites. They do not care if you are offended. And that's just how it is. Not that I'm condoning it or saying it's okay, but that's just how it is. They're not going to do something where it's like in the beginning of their next episode, which should be tomorrow, they're not going to, have Harvey Levin, who's the creator, I guess, who's also a lawyer, sit there and go, we heard that we really upset the Korean pop group EXID and their fans, and our statements had been taken as racist. We apologize. It's not going to happen. Like, none of that will happen ever. They're not going to apologize. They are unapologetic in the trashiest sense, and that is the way they like it. And I think that it's not, it's not super naive of Yadang Entertainment to try to go after TMZ, because that's the way it works in Korea. They sue netizens for making hate comments. Like, they take this stuff decently seriously, although the prosecution follow-through is not usually taken very seriously, but that's a whole other thing entirely. I mean, awesome of them too, like Amber, awesome of their entertainment company for speaking up and defending them. Like, I think that's super commendable, and they're absolutely right. This should not be, it shouldn't be laughed at, and no one should have to face ridicule as a tourist in a foreign country. I guarantee you, like, unless they plan on, like, living there or they're visiting family who might live there, no one studies the country they are visiting that is not their native language if they're there for, tourist purposes. It just doesn't happen that way. All in all, I think my point is just, yeah, is it racist? Absolutely. Should it be taken seriously? I don't know to this extent. I think the statement would have been enough to say, like, we don't condone this and how dare they, but I think expecting an apology or countermeasures is just kind of a stretch. I think in some aspects this is being blown out of proportion. I mean, people are talking about, I've seen people trying to tell other people that, like, this is just what TMZ does, which again does not condone it, but it's just what they do. They get hate for things all the time that aren't even race-based. So they're just known for generally not being nice people. So I wouldn't expect a comment from TMZ at all. If they make one, I guess you've exceeded my expectations of you, but I don't really expect it. And K-pop fans and EXID fans probably shouldn't either, but I will let you guys be the judge of it. If you have not seen the video in question, the link is down right here, and you can click on that and watch it and see for yourself. The dislike bar, you guys, is like, wow. So, let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Do you think that despite what the reputation that TMZ has, that they should apologize? Do you think it's sort of weird to ask them for an apology or some sort of statement? And do you even feel like maybe they didn't even go far at all? Like, that this was just, let me know what you think in the comments below. I've heard several varying opinions, so I'm very curious to what you all have to say. And for EXID, I will feel bad if they were hurt by the comments. I mean, I'm assuming they were, but I also hope they don't think that all Americans or all American journalists are like that. They're certainly not. EXID just came across some of the more icky journalists out there in America, and that's really not how everybody is. I hope they're getting tons of support. It seems like they really are. How could they not? So hopefully they take that in more than the negativity, because it's more what matters at the end of the day. So thank you guys for watching. If TMZ does post a reply statement something, I will post it, but I'll come back with some sort of news. Maybe it has to do with EXID, maybe not. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Bye guys.